Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I'm your host, DBJ. And we, in our goal to go around the world and find role playing games based around the history, mythology, culture, the ethnicity of places around the world, we are going to take a stop in Italy. And we are going to page through, review, and overview Brancalonia, a 5th edition aside tabletop role-playing game. The closest to not Dungeons and Dragons I think we're going to get. Just taking as a perception. But yes, we're going to take a look at this. But of course, please grab your snacks, put up your feet, take part if you're here live for the live stream on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Otherwise, catch us later, and we are going to take a deep dive into I'm going to butcher pronunciations. Brancalonia, a Italian flavored medieval adventure game. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you very much for being a community of creatives and kind folks. So we're going to take a look at Brancalonia. It is a 5th edition modified game. And because of the 5th edition rules from 2014 being placed in the Creative Commons, as well as many other factors involved, there are publishing houses and communities around the world that after its translation into other languages, those individuals from around the world can now produce their own materials and make money from it. So while there is a propensity here in the States to eschew anything, to ignore, not get involved in, and basically kick aside anything that's 5th edition, there are many people that love to play role-playing games, would also like to make money and make friends, and are from other places around the world. And so why not pick up something free, modify it, and use it? Yeah, stochastic, because I saw this one when it came out, just not active with 5e. Exactly. Essentially, so just as a point of reference, I don't consider 5e to belong to or be any parts of Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro. So 5e legally and physically is its own thing now. Now, you may not particularly like D20 systems, which I get, but no monies are going to corporate overlords. Now, if you want Dungeons and Dragons, that's a different thing. It is specific IP. So Brancalonia, we're going to take a look at the map, and we're going to go to let's go to the website first. And while I go to the website, I will tell you that the major changes to the rule set, and explain to you Acheron Games. Here we are. And explain to you what are the major changes, and maybe there's a good reason why it didn't quite catch on, because I don't hear anybody talking about Brancalonia as their version or their suggested version of, say, Dungeons and Dragons. So this is the website. Warrior says, I hate that the new rules aren't called 5.5. They were yeah. It's a rose by any other name, right? Just because people call something or don't call something, because they were trying to have their cake and eat it too. It's unfortunate. Yeah, 5e is pretty much its own IP at this point. Yes, and now, mind you, it's 5e at it's its own IP with a bad taste, right? It's like good food at a restaurant with horrible service. So it's like, it's the restaurant that everybody went to. It was like, I hated that place. The people were da da da, and it's like, well, do I really want to go there? Maybe I'll go somewhere else. And a terrible analogy, but that's kind of the one I went with. Oh well. So here we are on the website, and as you can see, even with me moving the cursor, there's a little bit of like comedy, like this is broken, and that is very much part of this game. As a matter of fact, with this artwork, if you take a look at the artwork to the very left, what is that, a dead giant or something like that, a giant ogre or whatever, dead in the corner. We got ourselves a knight or warrior here getting himself drunk. We have our Brancalonia logo. Like every time I move the cursor, it wants to like fall. It's like on its pivot. It's not quite settled here. So one of our barbaric heroes eating some raw flesh. Young lady down here blowing smoke circles because we're done. So, the Bounty Kingdom. This takes place in the place known as the Kingdom, or the Bounty Kingdom. Based on Italian tradition, folklore, history, landscapes, literature, and pop culture, Brancalonia is a campaign setting for the 5th edition of the most famous role-playing game ever. Enter the Kingdom of Brancalonia, a land full of pitfalls and money-making opportunities. Create your own band of knaves. Yes, they call them knaves. Knaves 2nd edition by Questing Beast. Ben Milton doesn't own Knaves, but yes, he has his own game called Knaves, but they are also called Knaves here. Create your own band of knaves, enlist in a free company, get yourself some well-paid jobs, deliver a fist and knife buffet to those who have it coming. Once you have collected a tidy sum and somewhat climbed the ranks of your company, you'll be ready to try your luck in that final job that could enable you to go out in a blaze of glory. There's some, they need some spell checking probably from language. After all, what could possibly go wrong? And yes, this is a horned devil with his pants down, taking a, shall I say, flammable pea break. You are the dregs of the adventure world, the cannon fodder for all battles, the scum that emerged when you scraped the bottom of the barrel, the dirty dozen that is pulled out of prison just to carry out desperate missions. And so there is in this a bit of a snideness. You're not heroes in the traditional sense. You're pretty much a band of barely good-hearted but lazy rapscallions that don't care, with broken items and just barely getting by, not really respected, getting in barroom fights. That's who you are, and that would be considered correct if you were a paladin, let alone all the other character class types. So yeah, you're the dirty dozen. You are the rapscallions and the cutthroats and the ne'er-do-wells. I'm trying to think of some other descriptors here. One any for best gold book. Fellas, let's take a look at what's in store for you. And then there's some paging through of things we'll find in the PDF. Great artwork as well. Then we got our core books and the setting book, which is the setting book and all the rules. Of course, you have to have backgrounds and feats and, new stuff, new treasures, diseases, poisons, blah, 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 blah. But I will, in just a moment when I get to the actual PDF, tell you what the change is. Now, this game pokes, I don't want to say pokes fun, but it does poke in the eye of the old OSR where you play adventurers for no good reason but to gain treasure and money, basically kicking the doors in of the dungeons, going in, sneaking past and or murder killing the people in there to get the gold. And this is kind of that way. You are bounty hunters. You, you're you are you're barely getting by, and so you are actively trying to get bounties, or basically maybe other people are forcing you into it to get the hell out of their city, get a real job. And so um, very much of that, of characters who kind of are maybe a little apathetic, or they have a lot of vices, or they don't fit into normal law-abiding society. In Brancalonia, all players are knaves, members of a company of mercenaries, rogues, and similar rascals engaged in questionable jobs across the various domains of what is left of an ancient kingdom now in ruins. This rabble, this throng of gallows birds of which you are worthy examples, is also identified in its entirety as the Bounty Brothers, the network of bands, companies, and knaves on whose heads a bounty, large or small, was placed at some time by one of the kingdom's fief lords. You will start off as third-rate scoundrels in a vile, dangerous world, clawing your way up through dirt and blood. Eventually, if you prove yourself up to it, you will rise to the rank of leader of your company and shake the thrones of kings and lords. Are you ready? Right, you were born ready. And then there's other things. So, anyway, this is the website. There's the Macaronicon, which is a expansion for it, and yes, there is some spaghetti. They make a reference because this is spaghetti fantasy, like spaghetti western. This is like the macaroni book, and yes, they embrace the spaghetti western of the spaghettiness. We'll get into what spaghetti westerns are like, and this explains what the Bounty Kingdom is, a little bit of the background, essentially a world that became leaderless, and dozens and dozens of warlords and fiefs. Let me see what their description is. I remember correctly, because there's no way to remember it. With the Iron Crown of Manalda gone missing and the secession's heraldry undecided, the kingdom is now split into over a dozen independent regions. In turn, these are fragmented into local potentes, fiefdoms, counties, villages, marches, duchies, baronies, alliances, knighthoods, municipalities, and commercial leagues, not to mention the uncertainty of the domain's boundaries and surrounding no man's land. Given the wide variety of themes and tones that can be used when playing Brancalonia, each of these regions can be the scene of odd jobs and situations with a highly specific atmosphere. Curiosity killed the knave. The game master is known as the condottiere, or the condo. I'm calling it. Lots of Italian, and I always have to pause with my lazy stateside tongue. Anyway, game master's thing. Free map, character sheet, quick start rules, roll 20, and then we get into Acheron's titles. I have Brancalonia and Apocalypse to the very left and very right. John's Guide to the Armageddon. Yeah, I have that one as well. All right, so let us get in. Here's the map, and then I'm going to get to your comments. Ooh, is the map too big? Ooh, shrink it down just a little bit so it'll fit. No, it's not fitting. There we go. So this is the map of Brancalonia. It's got quite a bit of detail. I'm actually surprised by it, considering quite a bit of the comedy. It's very dark humor that is in it. But yeah, let's see if we can get this a little bigger here. This is the northern section, and then we get down into the southern section. And it's vaguely, I guess you could say it's vaguely Italy, I guess if you squint a little bit and turned it sideways or something. But yeah. Yeah, Italian mobsters in D&D? Hell yeah. We have two cats in the background, so if you do hear that, if you do hear some noises, that is Scarlet and Brutus um, hanging around. I believe they are 2 months old. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons mobsters. I love it. All right, so let's get into the PDF, shall we? Yeah, there's a boot there. Yeah, yeah, it's a little twisted, but I like it anyway. And if we actually uh, uh zero in on it, like it's got the blood stains and let's see if we can get this a little bit bigger here so you guys can see some of it, some of the detail here. We're at the upper northwestern corner here, and sometimes you get to the edge of these maps and everyone's like, yeah, I don't know what to call it. We're going to call it the over mountain, right? You get to the end of the map, it's like I used up all my creativity with the names. And also it's the classic like here be dragons area of the map that all the players want to go to, even though as creators we're like, I didn't make anything, so why are you going to the edge of the map, damn it. But anyway, you can see some of it is like marked off and hinted at, and that we're coming little southward. Windy Isles, a bunch of names that I'm not going to pronounce. Sorry. Ooh, I don't have a cough button. The Sapphire Sea, the Windy Isles, the Mouths of Malefax, Adiancio, Port Aduja, Celia Regis, Apoliana. And then it does give you, there is the very left, there are regions and the names of those regions and things like that. And of course, our main book, let's shrink this down again. Of course, in our main book, it does tell you and give you far more detail about the regions and some easy ways to identify those regions if you are not so inclined with the Italian. Hey, Giant, what's up? Mm-mm-mm. So let's go into. Let's replace this screen and let's go to Brancalonia. Now, sorry, I've been sitting on this for quite a while. I will tell you the two and a half biggest changes from what we consider to be classic 5th edition. The first one for the spaghetti fantasy, you little child, yeah, eat the spaghetti, is that all levels cap off at level 6. I think that's probably the biggest slap in the face of traditional 5th edition players, which would turn them off completely. Level capping has capped off at 6. Now, there is a way to modify characters to continue for them to gain abilities above 6th level, but 99.9% of your character ends at level 6. And above level 6, it's not that you go above 6. What happens is you have access to feats. There's essentially abilities you gain that you would get if you were to gain another level. Instead, you gain an ability. One of those abilities is you gain an extra feat. But there are others in there, like maybe another spell or a modification to your character. It's very slow. So even if you go above 6th level, you play 4 more levels, you're not playing an equivalent 10th level character. You're playing a 6th level character with a couple of boons, and that's about it. The second biggest change is that it does the extended resting rules. So a short rest is 8 hours, and a long rest is 1 week. Now, don't get too upset about that, in which case, well, no, if you're a traditional 5th edition player, you're like, hell no, I ain't doing that. But oh, it's a dead giant with a dead warrior in his mouth. I guess it had a hard shell. He was trying to get to the soft innards. Oh well. And there's a dragon in the background and something here. Oh well. Time to get a drink. Dead orc. So, here we go. That long rest, short rest, long rest, there is a mini game in here known as frolicking. And during your downtime, basically having a long rest during the week, it is a long rest in the way that Blades in the Dark does a long rest, meaning you engage in your vices, and there is a mini game of getting into brawls, theft and thievery, and essentially there's a mini game in which you can still engage in unsavory actions, but it ends the moment you start making initiative rolls and combat rolls. So you have to be creative in engaging in the world with some dangers without actually engaging in the main rules of the game, because you're actually engaging in the mini rules of the game. I know that sounds strange, but those are the two biggest things. The very, very long resting periods and the capping out at 6th level. And if you are... So as a 1st to 6th level character, like 5th edition has, are you a bit of a badass? Yes. But are there dangers out there that will remain dangerous to you no matter what you do? Hell yeah. And so that there is a bit of that. Pizza, daggers, and mandolins. It gives us a list of reference and inspirations from comics, literature, essays, movies, and I don't know anything over here except 2 movies, and that is Lady Hawk and Princess Bride. That's it. The rest of them are, of course, Italian-based, and if you are interested in this, it behooves you to check that out. And there's some highly recommended ones. Lady Hawk and Princess Bride are not highly recommended, but I get it. And I like Lady Hawk. It's from the 80s, mid 80s, maybe? Anyway. Here it talks about the world of Knaves and who you are and what you are in this world, the bands and companies, alignment, it's basically like, yeah, take it or leave it. The Brancalonian job, who the condottiero is, which is the game master, and your low life heroes. And right up front, here with a little chart, it tells you what your level is, and it goes up to Emeritus Knave, level 6. That's it. Gives an example of importing knaves from outside the kingdom, essentially playing races and or character classes that are outside, basically using your other 5th edition and suggesting what to do with those. And because it's using the original 5th edition, they're still using race as their nomenclature. Let's see what you guys have to say. What the heck happened to my... I didn't realize it went away. I will bring it back, hopefully. Or at least it went away as far as my viewership. There we go. Oof. Yeah, I hear you, Giant. Says, wow, a crowd today. Hey, I agree with that too. And then it says, what a strange choice to cap it at 6. Not so strange if you are an old grognard, an old graybeard like myself. You will remember that long before 5th edition, there had been in the zeitgeist, because of people basically power gaming and getting out of hand back in the 80s and early 90s of a 6th level cap on adventuring, and it just became this thing where and I believe it was because of the rules back in AD&D and 2nd edition that if you capped it at 6, you didn't have access to magics that would fundamentally put you in a different it capped your ability to take it out of the range of the mortal realm, because once you gain a certain type of spell, you can then basically instantly ignore all kinds of physical things, and then you start going into extra dimensional adventuring. And it was like, no, we want to keep this more classic medieval. And so Shice is really like, when you think about it, isn't 1 week the minimum amount of time you can actually heal from anything just by resting? Yeah, like a head cold or like a sprain. When the doctor says bed rest, I'm thinking that's actually a bit more realistic, if you want, simulationist, I suppose. No frolicking either. Engaging in unsavory activities could bust your wound right back open. Yeah, but they want you to have. Listen, if you're going to bother doing that, you might as well have fun while you're at it, right? Yeah, I get it. I hear you. Yeah, name is word. Yep, that's exactly where it came from, right? Yeah, the 8-hour short rest, 1 week long rest is actually in the DMG. Yep. Other homebrews like this use it as well. Iskalaw, for example, I think it fits for Curse of Strahd. Yep, absolutely. It is in a D, which is funny because it's in a DMG and technically you're not allowed to use it. I think it's telling that legally everything in the Dungeon Master's Guide from 2014 is not in the Creative Commons. It's not in there, but people use it anyway. Now, I think you can have something in the middle, right? Like where you could say a short rest is like 4 hours and a long rest could be like 16, like 2 days or so. Like you could mix and match it. Like a short rest doesn't need to be an hour. You could say it's 2 hours and just double the time and go like 16 hours of long rest. I think you could modify it that way if you'd like to. Yeah, he says Lady Hawk and Princess Bride must be great for getting kids into the low magic, gritty, non-bullshitty kind of fantasy when you think about it. Yeah, exactly. And listen, is it a little fuzzy on the simulationist part and just having fun with it? Yeah. And like Princess Bride is a classic. Does it have a lot of jokes in it and does it take itself seriously? No, it doesn't. Right? But it's like, let's have some fun. Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan 2023 is a good modern movie along with the sequel. Drew's like, simulation. I hear you. That's the only, I think that's the only simulationist portion of Brancalonia. After that, it's all theme and genre and what's the other words that we use? A setting and flavor. Shai says even lower level spells can totally F up any art realism. Protection from fire, breathing water, and all that, not to mention good berry. Yep. So here we have our book and the different races. Of course, there's humans, and instead of how do I say this? Instead of having like 28 different types of beings, they have just one known as gifted. And the gifted are there's so many different origins for the gifted. They even name some of them. It's pretty ridiculous, even the names that they're just like, oh, almost as numerous as the gifted themselves. The traditions regarding their birth and the reason for their unique powers, innate or otherwise, include being descendants of the Malebranche or a tortoise, or conceived during special planetary conjunctions. They have a thing with turtles in here. Anyway, seventh child of a seventh child, born with a silver spoon in her mouth, born prematurely, blessed by saints, marked by uh, the Kinotar, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, swapped in the cradle by elves, born in Mala Tempora, the darkest period of the year, on mortal night or during a lightning storm, chosen by the prophecies, or delivered when their mother sneezed in the vegetable garden. Old wives' tales and legends are rife with children born with special powers. The gifted can be all of this and more. So it's basically like you have a gift, like a magical gift, and you're marked by that gift. So you could have funny ears or different color skin, or I don't know. What? Be creative. You're marked and you're gifted, and that's their catch-all for I want to play like a furry, or I want to play okay, fine. Shut up. Just play a gifted. There's the Morgant, and the Morgant are like demi-giants. They're the big beefy dudes. They are the shout out to Andre the Giant. A little bit. But every story has had their Morgants in it, and that's who they are. They are, what is it? Truth be told, they are meek and accommodating. Their natural disposition being more like that of cattle and pachyderms than of bloodthirsty predators. But of course, Inferno knows no fury like a good person turned bad. So yeah, bad guys like to have them on their side and make them do evil things, but they pretty much want to stick to themselves and hang out and be kind of peaceful. There's Sylvans. Sylvans, I guess you can call them elves. Sure. And it talks about how other races see them. Here's a strange one. The marionette is a race. Like, yes, it does mention Pinocchio. So you can play Pinocchio and other marionettes, basically animated, artificial humanoids, or not quite humanoids, animated. And then there's marionette traits, and marionettes being forgotten and lost, looking for their way. The Malabranche, I am butchering the pronunciation. Let's see if I can put this in the chat here. They are the evil spawn, fiend spawned. It didn't capitalize the M. Male branchies. Yeah, there's so many classes and races in 5e, it confused it. Yeah, that's exactly why I think they were just like, yeah, let's not have that many. And yes, it does confuse it a little bit, because it is the paradox of choice, that the more choices you have, the less choices there are, and causes analysis paralysis, and if everyone is special, no one is special. So those are the races, I guess the lineages, the genetics, if you will. And then we get into our classes, and the versions of their classes, and how they're slightly changed in this rapscallion, living paycheck to paycheck kind of world. And so we have the barbarian is known as the pagan, the new primal path. Whack first, ask questions later. The bard here is known as the Harlequin, the new bardic college. The cleric is the Miracleist, a new divine domain. This is the sexy stuff, right? New character options, new feats, new whatever. The druid is the Benedante, new druidic circle of the dance macabre. And don't get too excited by many of these, because remember, it caps off at 6th level, so you're not going to see like a laundry list of, oh, I'm going to pick this at 7th and this at 12th level, and then get a half. I'm going to pick one level of this if I get the multi-class. Don't get too excited. Fighter, the sword fighter, your archetype, and the friar is the monk, new monastic tradition for the monk. Way of the brawly rule, turn the other cheek, the iron and feather hand technique. We also have the paladin, the knight errant. Comes across a little bit as like a Don Quixote kind of, a little bit like a knight looking for a cause. There's a ranger known as the Matador. Gotta have something like that. Matador, master of patience. One day it's you hunting the Viper Wolf. Another day it's the Viper Wolf hunting you. We have the rogue, and their new archetype is the brigand. We have the sorcerer known as the superstition. Dead or alive, 31 gold pieces. We have a warlock known as the Jinx, otherworldly patron, and the wizard. Oh, what's the name of Gooseguard? Gooseguardery. Gooseguards are the most famous and celebrated wizards of the kingdom. Cheaters, charlatans, street swindlers, yes, the word gypsies, and seekers of arcane treasures. They give a bad rap to the innocent. New personalities and backgrounds, and again, this is 5th edition from its early inception with the personality, ideal, bonds and flaws, and so there are a number of those here, and a bunch to choose from and to make your character. I think these actually, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not too surprised. I feel like they benefit the Kondo, the game master, far more than they do the players, but that's just me. Of course, we have Brancalonian feats, and then at the end of the feats, it does talk about the changes to the game. And this one page on the left are the changes above 6th level. Knaves Emeritus advances beyond 6th level. In Brancalonia, the maximum level your character can reach is 6th level, but this does not mean that Knaves will stop growing or improving at 6th level. In fact, each time you gain the experience points needed to advance to 7th level and beyond, you instead take a new emerituscence from the following, and then there are a number of these, like improved recovery, indomitable, professional brawler, band together, gift of feet. And this is the gift of feat is you can take this emeritance twice. You take a feat of your choice. So essentially you can gain 2 more feats. And then the rest of these are like boons, I guess, if you want to have a category, but they're basically feats as well. Like beefy, your hit point maximum increases. You gain additional hit points equal to 6 plus your constitution modifier. That's it. And you only can take it once. So yeah, good luck. Tavern fights and empty saddlebags is the mini game for non-lethal combat that you can engage in during your downtime, so-called downtime. Again, like I was mentioning with Blades in the Dark, there is like engaging in your vices and embracing the idea that your character, is a ne'er-do-well. Like you're not a good guy, but you're not evil. So yeah, do you overdrink and party and have lustful thoughts and have addictions and spend too much money and have disrespect for authority and whatnot? Yes, that's you. So heck, you might even be the good guy in the world of bad guys who just doesn't get along with everyone, and you're wallowing, you're having a drink, wallowing in your own self-pity. So all of this is the mini game that involves like gaining favors and collecting bounties, having bounties put on your head, carousing, getting into bar fights, misdeeds, bounties, and notoriety, how many gold pieces you can earn, finding other people, how much money is on your head, hiding out, and job hazards. Here's a notoriety table. cheap bounties, old bounties, gaining bounties, and of course the bounties that are put in your own head increase your notoriety. So it's like you kind of want to be hunted. You kind of want to have like those wanted posters put up with you. You 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 kind of want to be kicked out of different establishments. Um, in a way, it kind of benefits you. So yeah, you could be the good guy, but you may not gain that much notoriety. But then people won't know who you are, and so you're like, I'm a knight, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Here's how to brawl. It's got its own mini game. Um, Essentially, you have like different moves. You can even bring in props. There's general moves and as well as magic moves. Some of the character classes have like specific class related moves when you're engaging in barroom fights. Barroom fights. Um, Ace in a hole, stray dangers you can throw in to change things around, like people being thrown off of balconies and through windows and things like that. And then dive games. There's actual little games in here. Poppycock, barrel beating. Poppycock is a card game. Barrel beating, poor man's carousel, Brancalonia, Brancalonian buffet, and then there's a revelry, engaging in revelries, and then we get to some stuff. Um, Money and equipment talks about using shoddy equipment and money. I mean, using money to buy shoddy equipment, black market equipment, things of that nature. Let me go back up to what you guys have to say. So, Nameless says, I don't want to get too off topic. You should look at the Iscloth 1.1 rules eventually. Some people think that was around Iscloth's peak flavor compared to 1.5.1. I think I have both of those. Yes. I believe it was shrunk down for money because the 1.5 version yet has a different layout and different art. Yes, I do agree. Maybe I might do a side by. Oh, if you do a side by side and no one has access to the 1.1, I mean, is that fair? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. You piqued my interest. You did. Coincidentally, one of the supplements to this game is a Star Wars parody. It is. Yeah, it sure is. Yeah. It's a parody down to the, like it clearly is a parody. So yeah, dark humor, absolutely. Oh man, I get it just for the Harlequin Bard. Yep. Homebrew the Laughing God from the Warhammer 40K. Ooh. Yeah. Dream Eon's Voyager. Dream says more like Don Quixote. Yeah, Don Quixote would be an excellent type of like a knight or a warrior or a version like that. Like, hey, I'm the lawful good person, and everyone's like, go away. It's not that they don't even. It's not that they don't. It's not that they have a hatred for you. It's like they just ignore you. That's the crazy one. It's like, no, I believe in honor and righteousness, and they just roll their eyes. Yeah, keep in mind, this whole game is designed to be played as a satire parody. Yeah. It is. To me, it is a modern version of playing in the OSR, where we knew we were in a dungeon, we knew we were adventuring. The reason why we're gaining money and going into dungeons is because we want to go into the dungeon to get the money. The reason why, let's have some fun. And mind you, it's not really poking fun at the rules. It's really making fun of the setting a bit. So there is this idea of like your characters making funny quips and like swinging through chandeliers and getting hurt and getting punched in the face when you get there and getting kicked in the groin and fart jokes and getting wasted and your sword breaking and your armor falling off and things like that. It's like, Nameless Warrior says, do you find Bond's ideals and flaws useful? I almost never use them. My players don't seem to use them at all. I don't feel like we're missing out much. No, I mean, just for like world creation and things like that. Like, hey, if I'm coming up, if I want to know what, trying to come up with an example. If I want to know what I want to make a hermit in my world, but I don't have a spark of inspiration. I can just go to those like ideals, bonds, flaws, and just use those tables and things like that. I don't feel like players use them at all. I feel like it would be easier to literally pick it up and put it in a dungeon master's guide, and it would just have far more use. That's what I was just thinking there, Warrior. Does it have a bestiary? Yes, it does. PJ says, have you looked at Karen's second edition? No, I have Knaves second edition. I have not looked at second edition Karen, but I did do a review of Beyond the Pale, the adventure based around a fictional fantasy setting based around a Jewish community known as the Pale of Settlement. So we did that on the show as well a couple days ago. Yeah, and they said side by side would be great. And you find the 1.1 floating around online still if you look hard enough. I think I still have it. I have a para friendship with Lloyd. So yeah, he hasn't gotten back to me yet about it. Probably because he's probably like, I don't know if I want to put my face out there again. But he hasn't gotten back to me. I did contact him. Gives me picaresque vibes, which is definitely a good thing. Yep. All right, let's get to anyway, so we do have the money and the shoddy equipment rules, and basically it's telling you that, just embrace the fact that you will probably have shoddy equipment. Your equipment will fail. Get into arguments with the people that sold it to you, that told you that that sword would be, it's a silver-edged sword to fight ghosts, and it breaks. It's just tin, and you're like, damn it! I was in the middle of a fight with that werewolf or something like that, and embrace that. Concoctions, some funny concoctions, and like I said, fart jokes and things like that. Magical junk talks about magical junk. Memorabilia, trinkets essentially. Let's see if we can get to, what time is it? Yeah. Let's go to the bestiary. Prophecies. Oh, by the way, excuse me. Detail about the kingdom, or the bounty kingdom, or the kingdom here. Hasty history of the kingdom. This is basically the history of it. We have ourselves our map, and then each of those regions broken down. And what I like about this is it gives you the title here. I'm not going to pronounce it, but it also tells you in a few words what is here. So you don't, mind you, 2-page spread again. Indie games, 2-page spread, love it, because you don't have to keep doing a lot of page flipping. In the margin, you'll see in red, there's some more details about people, places, and things that you can use for your own creation. But, here's the title where it says, or of ancestral ruins, sea monsters, and gorgons. Great, that's all I need to know, and you get to move on. And so we have a lot of that here throughout all of this. Falcamonte, or of knights, Gabolini, and brigands. I presume Gabolini are like goblins. Falcamonte. Falcon Mount, maybe? Merchants, Montbanks, and Goose Guards. I think it's a Montbank bank. I think they're like charlatans and connivers, con artists. Sequence, sailing ships, and stabbings. Another one, Miss Witches and Pagans. So, and each of these just like a 2-pager, and then you make up the rest of it. Read it, take what you want, get rid of what you don't want. but based on Italian folklore. And let's get to ourselves some monsters. Oh yeah, penumbra. Let's stop here. Mourning, crimes, and more mourning. Land of marauders, dragons, and cutthroats. No country for marionettes. Yeah, no country for old men. No, there's no country for marionettes. Marionettes. Yeah, not marionettes. Marionettes. And let's get ourselves some Here There Be monsters. Come on, come on. There we go. All the regions. This one's fun. This was like, this is the catch-all as well. It's like, and every place else. The Forgotten Counties, or how we have forgotten an entire region. In other words, you get to put whatever you want down there. Is that ink or blood? Did somebody smudge that out? I can't read that. I love it. It's just I think they're just having some fun with the book itself. All right. Sorry. I know I'm being a bit of a tease. All the regions. It's pretty big. It's pretty extensive. Gives you rules for creating your own adventures and bounties. Lots and lots of bounties. There's an adventure in here. I believe they even have a solo adventure. Not in this book, but there's a solo adventure if I'm not mistaken. And then monsters. Come on. And now, well, what do you think now? New monsters and enemies. Some are traditional, but based in that culture. So here we have the Bavilisk, overgrown six-legged dog, is a monster of abnormal extravaganzian nature. Whoever comes into contact with its nauseating breath and drool turns into stone, after which the Bavilisk consumes its victim, munching it carefully while it begins to change back to flesh. So it's got a petrifying breath instead of sight, but not your normal basilisk. Bafanas. Better a Bafana in the house than a guard at the door. It's funny. Old hags. There you've got the witch's broom, and there's a way to change like their malevolence level, how powerful they are, and then some, pick and choose some different abilities. Malevolence 1, 2, and 3 gives them even more abilities for them to like dominate people and polymorph and things of that nature. Flying broom. Begat. Ancient Begat. It's like a wingless dragon. Like a lindworm. The Confined. Most powerful of the ghosts and phantoms that Knaves can encounter in the kingdom. They are undead beings of ancient pain, dark intentions, and great powers, who for some reason remain to haunt the place where they die. And they have lots of abilities: telekinetic power, spectral drowning, possession, terrifying glare. They are challenge level 7. Layers of the Confined. A cat snake. A Phoinoncus. Cross between a weasel and some filthy hairy bird. A Malakota. It is challenge level 14. And if it's challenge level 14, you might be saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, our characters can only go to highest level of 6. The answer to all of that is yes. I like this a little funny too. I don't like violence, Santuzo. I'm a busy person. Blood is a bit expense. From Felamondo, the Malakota, which is this being right here. He's like, I don't like violence. Of course, I use my funny voice. You could go, I don't like violence. I'm a busy person. Blood is a big expense. But large fiend, lawful evil. You get the point. And there's some other here. Sleech. Margaret. Large, giant, neutral, evil. Evil giant. Swarm of spider crows. There's a picture of a spider crow in here somewhere. It's pretty nasty too. And yes, it is a mix between a spider and a crow. You guess which part is spider and which part is crow. Viper wolves. Hear those viper wolves that mentioned earlier. Bite. Wakeful. Two heads. Does it have something else? Poison damage. And non-player characters and common enemies. Lots of mobs, because I'm sure as characters you'll be pissing off a lot of people. Different people: duelist, queen's guard, chief guard, dragoon. And remember, since 6th level is your highest, you really don't want to be surrounded by a mob of people. Pagan, slicker. I mean, 6th level characters are at max are pretty beefy in 5th edition, but not so beefy that you can just ignore lots of characters. Royal Bounty Hunter, challenge rating 5, so pretty much basically equal to a player character. Talking animals, and then we're at the end here. Let's put up the. Let's see. Let's put the map up again, and then we'll get out of here. Sorry. Come on. I am such a Luddite. Anyway, yeah, let's replace this with this one. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Is this whole thing based on? I don't know. I honestly don't know. How many more of these do you have planned? Let's see. I didn't count. One more in Italy. I have one more in Italy. Of course, we got to do Japan. I have China. And I have so maybe 3 or 4, maybe 3 more, and that's it. Not very. I've tried to do a deep dive, and I have not found anything related to like I don't know, Burma, Thailand, Philippines, Australia. Trying to think of some other ones. Nothing like that. Now, what we could do is stop, and then we'll, I'll end up having my camera on, and we can do, I can do my talking head, and we can get into other subjects. But no. Oh yeah, yes, Obsidian Star still. Yes, yeah. I haven't stopped working on it. I just wanted to make it presentable, and I'm still trying to make Affinity, the publishing software, try to get that into my subconscious, and it's still taking me a little bit of time. Yeah. Cairn 2nd edition. Free if you take a look. Oh! Cairn 2nd edition is free? I thought there was a... I guess it could... Well, he did... Yokai or Yokai did mention that he's just like, I don't really want to... I just want to put it out for cost. And I know there's a boxed set. I'll take a look at it. I'll find it out. Let me see if I can... Also, give me 2 seconds. And I'm going to see if I can find something here. Downloads. I'm going to find... Let's see. Is cloth. One 1.4, 1.2. Let me take a look inside my 2020 versus 2024. Come on. It is really, it's lagging. Okay, that's that version. And then let's see, we go to this version. Yeah. Big difference. So, let's go back. Hey, if you get any questions for Affinity, just ask. Yeah, it's not. It's it's the it's not the lack of knowledge. It's the lack of ability to use that knowledge. Because I'm a perfectionist too, and I'm just like, okay, no. So to do this part and do that, no, let me go back. So you can't break it, but it's just me going like, okay, well, what does this function do? Oh, I get it. Okay, that function. Okay, now I got to remember where that function is to go back and do this other thing. And yeah, just getting learning about like get a little geeky about like bleeds and things like that, because you have to worry about how the center of the page will come out, because the book will spread open, versus the outer portions, which are like the margins and things. I wonder, here's a strange thing that from me being in the States is that I want to know what it's like other places, but many people are in fantasy. They already know what their home is like. It's not strange to them, so they want to play something else. Yeah. Pete John says Karen second edition Warden's Guide is brilliant. I'm gonna look that up. All right, so here we have. Let's see. This is Iscloth, the 1.1. Mine is actually called 1.2, but essentially it's the same thing. It's and this is the one with the far more color in it, and let me see if I can find something very colorful. I did find that. Okay, so you know what? Let me go back to the top here. Here is my early edition of it, and he's on page 4. And then I have my other edition of this, and the other edition is the 1.5 version. Why won't it let me share? Oh, okay, I gotta switch over. Sorry. Here, switch over here. And that's 1.5. And let's see if I can go page 4, and it got changed. The font changed, cover changed, and it happened. See, there's page 4. That warrior with the blood on him disappeared and whatnot, and a lot of that has to do there. You want to produce a book? It's like, I mean, you want to produce a game? You kind of need to become a professional in like other people's jobs. So yeah, these are the original rules. 150 pages PDF versus 134. So yeah, some spreads were taken out. I bet a lot of word count was cut. Sometimes you can the weight of the paper, if you have a print version, can be daunting. So like you might have to change that around. It's and here we go with the disappearance. All right, let's stop sharing and then put something back up here. I'll put this back up here for the website. And then we'll get out of here. Every time I go across it. Blocker says, seems like many D&D YouTubers have gone to live videos instead of normal ones. Oh, like the pre... well, let's be honest. I'm lazy. So writing... What people don't see is that in the background, there are people who are writing scripts. They may have to upload that video multiple times. They're putting in... they're getting the color saturation right. They're getting their audio correct. They are editing out music or putting in little bits and features and all that kind of stuff. That editing process is a process they don't get paid on. So if I'm going to earn ad revenue and have people join my Patreon, which I don't have, all that kind of stuff, right? I don't. So, but assuming that I have a bunch of that and I've got 80,000 subscribers, is it better to spend 6 hours putting up a video or an hour and a half? right? You're getting the same amount of money, but you're putting in 3 times as much effort or more. So yeah, live streaming is a hell of a lot easier. And someone like me who's extremely unprofessional, so seat of the pants, old dude by myself. Half the time my camera doesn't work, my audio goes bad. I've got 2 cats running around in the background who are they're cute, but not everybody likes that kind of thing. You can hear background noises. I make lots of mistakes. Being live also means that when it comes to accuracy and terminology and things like that, it's you can get blasted through that. Those are the mistakes. And also there's the what's the language the language model when you make pauses that aren't part of the English language, like saying words like, you know what I mean, you feel me, us, that kind of stuff. It's thanks. It's difficult to be a live presenter because some of us has very unconscious language features, like saying filler words, pausing a lot. I do pausing a lot because I'm conscious of it because I used to be a very heavy stutterer, extremely heavy stutterer, and mine was very psychological. I was very nervous in front of people, and right, like at a certain point, I'm like fuck it, it's like whatever. Do it. Yeah, you're nowhere near as unprofessional as a lot of big time streamers I've seen. Yeah, it's what I mean by unprofessional is like having great background things and lighting and having all of the information I need already up front. There's a lot of times you guys say something, I'm like, let me look that up. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm going to look up something like down. What is the language feature of sounds or words fill gaps in the language feature, this is what I'm talking about. The language feature of sounds or words that fill gaps in speech is called a filler, also known as a filler word or hesitation marker. Explanation: some fillers are typically non-meaningful words like ah, or phrases like that people use when pausing to think while speaking, essentially filling the silence while they formulate their next thought. Yeah, common examples: like, well, Yeah, they function to the listener that the speaker is still talking and hasn't finished their thought. And when you're a public speaker, you gotta be really conscious of that, because there are some people who don't realize it and they fill their entire YouTube channel with like you know what I mean, things like that. So yeah, I haven't. What kind of Cthulhu is this? Who's this? Shavarocco game players. You're coming in at the end here, buddy. I chose to find different games that feature the history, culture, ethnicity, fantasy of different places around the world, and I just happened to stop at Italy, but we did Central America, the United States, with let's see, oh man, I can't go through all the names. Damn. We did the Mediterranean a couple times. We went down into Africa. We went into Greenland, Iceland. We went into the Nordic region for different role-playing games. Yeah, they're each in order on the channel. But this screen you've got right now already takes more effort than just letting the webcam roll. No one wants to see my ugly face. Like, why? Who am I? I'm just some dude. Late to the party, yeah, Ranger Hay. But I figured Brancalonia would be your next coverage. Yep, Brancalonia, and tomorrow will be John's Guide to the Armageddon Apocalypse. It is a 5th edition of playing in the end times of the Bible. I don't know why anybody didn't make a big deal about that. I don't know. But yeah. And now mind you, here's another thing that a trick that YouTubers will do. So they will do like an hour long, 2 hour long live stream, and then they'll use like AI and other editing software to capture clips and then put up those shorts and clips and then clip it down. So for example, I'm going, it's almost an hour and 10 minutes of saying. So I could then clip that down to do like a 15-minute and then an 18-minute and then a 3-minute and things like that. So it's kind of done on the back end as well, especially for podcast style shows. It's like on the back end. Call of Cthulhu, describe the most likely end scenario of all things everywhere. Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. That is, yeah. Freaking love Mouse Ritter, have both sets. It has great game mastering tools you can use in any game, but not particularly cultural. Well, I was also wondering, how can I pull in games that aren't cultural? And like basically, let's go around our real world and then go go so fantastical. Let's go someplace that's not related to anything else. So I don't know. We might do that. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, you would do a lot of that. Yeah, filler language. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. Or if you want to get really, it's yeah, I'm saying, which goes from know what I'm saying to do you know what I am saying, right? It just gets edited down to, you know what I'm saying? Is there a name for the small world genre? Ironsworn is a good one. I don't have it, but I've seen it. I could pick it up though. Ironsworn is a good one. Solo RPGs are gaining a hell of a lot of traction. Oh, for sure, the Mouse Ritter does peak. Okay, well, too late. You've already done it. At very shortly. How about I'll do it next week? We'll do Mouse Ritter. We'll do Mouse Ritter next week. Now I'm gonna let Mouse Knight, Mouse Ritter, Mouse Knight. Yeah. Many of these games have how do I say? They have these features that if you're not into it, you would never know what the feature is in that game. And then you sometimes, me as a polygamist, I start smacking myself like, how did I miss out on that? That is so cool. Like, oh, it actually took me a while to get into Blades in the Dark, and now Blades in the Dark is one of my favorite, what would you call that? Lego building block piece games that you can pull from. Yeah, did you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Exactly. Oh, Ironsworn would at least fit in the Nordic theme. I did Vaesen. I did that one too. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm saying? Yeah, there it is. All one word. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying. Exactly. So anyway, yeah, Blazing are incredibly elegant and segmentable, right? Like, it's not only a brilliant game, it's a game that you can take apart very easily. Flashbacks, easy to take apart. Position, what is it? Threat in position or consequence position, you could take that and put it anywhere. The idea of downtime can be taken anywhere. It's such a there's and to go on and on and on about it. Faction use, clocks, what else? Vaesen is so cool. I have a hardcover version. It's no replacement for D&D though. No, I listen. I am being clickbaity somewhat about making a thumbnail that says not D&D. But my reasoning for that, even with the Brancalonia sitting up here right now, saying that it's not D&D is me saying that the play experience for this is so unlike what we think of modern 5th edition today that it doesn't compare. So just by saying, your short rest is 8 hours, your long rest is 1 week, um, character classes cap off at 6th level, and it's filled with comedy and dark humor, and you are the lowest levels of society, and you're rapscallions, and people disrespect you, and there's bawdy, dark, scatological humor in it. Is that 5th edition? Capping out at 6th level and just having short rest be 8 hours right there is going to smack a lot of people in the face to make it not 5th edition to me. So, and that's just an example of it, right? We did some of the other games. Has got its own unique rule system. It sure does. Yep, clocks. And clocks are just timers. I mean, you could call it a clock, which is very emblematic of the neo-Victorian setting that Blades in the Dark is. But if you want to call it tension timers or pressure gauge or, I don't know. In my game, Obsidian Star, I call it orbits. But it's the same thing. I took it. And did I steal it? Of course I did. Because Blades in the Dark on their own website has it available for its own OGL and SRD. So that's why there's so many Forged in the Dark games. Yes, Blades in the Dark is the ultimate homebrew with the best concepts of any given system or table. Yeah, flashbacks, clocks, downtime, it's all been used before, but never combined like Blades in the Dark. Yep, all combined together in one game. And there's other little minor things in there, like attributes that aren't specified, right? Like when I'm going to wreck something. Well, what is wreck? Okay, well, wreck is like physically tearing something down, but could you wreck a social, could you wreck a social interaction without being physical? Yep. Yeah. I think of Blades and even Brancalonia a little bit like Zahn in Arcane. Like people living in the gutters and having survived, with the upper city and the people in the upper regions, but you're forever down in the trenches trying to survive and live another day with other rapscallions going after you. Yeah, maybe we'll do Blades in the Dark again sometime. The only reason I haven't done it recently is because I talk about it tangentially so much that people can get kind of annoyed by that. So hell, even Call of Cthulhu games are a big deal, whatever. So anyway, here's the deal. I am coming to the end because there's a huge gap between India, unfortunately, and China. China and Japan, there's a huge gap of no role-playing games that I've been able to find. So that means we're coming to the end pretty quickly. And in that case, you guys tell me what you'd like to discover. Now, I often am influenced by pop culture and also, like to poke it at current things that are happening in the tabletop community, TTRPG community. So sometimes things come seasonally. We like to complain about alignment and hit points and rules as written versus the rule of cool versus rules as intended. Those are some things too. Titterpig says also the setting is like it says in the book, a pressure cooker. You cannot go murder hobo and then run away from the consequences of your actions. You have to think about the effects. Yep. Of course we're doing Legend of Five Rings. Is there... I'm sure there are JRPGs that are as good or better, but I don't know one that truly embraces the cinematic samurai any better than Legend of the Five Rings. Yeah. Oh, 7th damn, that's right. Pirate Age, I forgot about that one. Yeah, the Age of Piracy, that's right. Yeah. That's one. Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, and Legend of Five Rings isn't made in Japan or China. I was hoping to find something. I think I have like Ruatania, and there's some other JRPGs out there, but they're all like, um, how do I say? They are not an embracement of the culture because people that live somewhere don't think too much about it. They're like, yeah, I know where I live. Like I was thinking about making an RPG based on Morkborg about just called America, about the settlement of the United States and like taking it and turning it into a dark reflection thereof. And then I was like, you know what, I'll get blasted for doing something like that. But oh well. Fabula Ultima, I've heard about that. Yeah, and some of them are based on like video games and anime, and I'm like, I mean, they're nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not nice games, but oh damn! I own every physical 7th Sea first edition book. It's arguably my favorite RPG. The designers wanted to be able to play The Princess Bride start to finish, and they accomplished that. what a great impetus to make a game. Like, I love The Princess Bride. I want to do it from start to finish. Okay, well, let's do it then. So there's some role-playing games that start out that way, and it's great. So anyway, guys, yeah, don't do it. Yeah, no, do it. Get blasted. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Do it. Just call it Merca. Merca. Hell yeah. And like, oh man, the indigenous people were all gone, hiding in the shadows as industrial smog moves across the landscape. There's rail trains that are like the 5-7 stories tall, wide as football fields, moving across the landscape. Everyone's like cutting down forests and you know, digging for gold and oil in the deep reaches of the earth. And it's just like everything's like grimy and dirty. And yeah, I was thinking about just calling it America. Like, yeah, you have to survive. You came from a world that was already destroyed and came here to lead a new life. But can you survive? Merca, hell yeah. 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 Merca, Bor, yeah. Sorry, just I got the Team America thing stuck in my head. Mountain Dew Comancho and Beef Supreme come out and have an ow my balls smash off. Maybe not that wild, but sure. Oh man, ooh. Now see, that's a different. You Pete Giant, yeah. Morca. Yeah. You're bringing up Lamentations of the Flame Princess. That's a different. Now that game is, it is its own genre. I think it's like the head of its own genre. I think in terms of like, you know, pseudo historical fantasy. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. I got to let you guys go too. But yeah, you guys brought us some great stuff. So I'll have to put it on the list, and then we'll discuss it and do it over here. So we'll have some time, have some fun. We will also talk about things happening in the community. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. So guys, have a great one. I will see thee later this week. Yeah, guys, have a great one. I'll see you. Bye.